There was once a man named Kieran, a skilled mason who lived on the edge of a fertile valley. His hands could sculpt rock into arches, fountains, and fortresses. But unlike most artisans, Kieran built not for others, but for himself. Around his small house stood a wall 5 men tall. Around his late mother's grave stood another, lined with obsidian stone. Around the tree where he once carved his lover's name, another wall, sealed with iron. When villagers passed his land, they could only see stone. No garden, no door, no smile. Only cold, silent barricades. They whispered that Kieran had gone mad. Others said he was cursed. But one spring, a traveling monk came to the village, and upon hearing the story, he asked, "Has anyone asked why he builds walls?" None had. So the monk climbed the hill, approached the outer wall, and knocked. To his surprise, a voice echoed, "Go away." But the monk sat cross-legged and said softly, "I won't take anything from you. I came to ask a question." A pause. Then the voice returned. "What question?" The monk replied, "What are you trying to keep out or keep in?" After hours of silence, a door opened, a narrow slit, just enough for one man to pass. The monk entered. Behind the outer wall was not chaos, but order. Flowers trimmed with care, paths swept, and stone carvings placed like silent guardians. Kieran emerged, dusty and quiet, with calloused hands and tired eyes. He offered the monk water and sat. "I built the first wall when my mother died," he said. "People came to grieve with me, but I couldn't bear their sorrow. It made mine heavier, so I pushed them away." The monk nodded. "Grief often feels too big to share." "Then," Kieran continued, "I fell in love, truly. But when she left me for another, I built a wall around the garden where we once dreamed together. I could not destroy the place, but I could hide it." "So," the monk said gently, "your walls are not protection. They are prisons for your pain." Kieran looked away. "Maybe." The monk stayed 3 days. He walked with Kieran through the walled paths, the sealed tombs of memory. Each wall told a story. This one where Kieran kept a broken music box. That one where he had once carved his childhood dreams into stone. But the strangest thing was this: every beautiful thing in his life was hidden. Not lost, not destroyed, but buried behind walls. "Why keep them?" the monk asked. "Because if I let them go, I'll have nothing. But if you keep hiding them," the monk said, "you already have nothing." The words struck Kieran like a hammer. He couldn't sleep that night. His walls had protected his treasures, but they had also cut off the light. The next morning, the monk woke to a strange sound: stone breaking. Kieran was tearing down the smallest wall first, the one around his old wooden toy chest. Dust flew as he opened it. Inside were faded toys and a note in a child's handwriting. "When I grow up, I will build homes for everyone who has none." Kieran wept. He had built walls to protect his heart. But in doing so, he had betrayed the very dream of his childhood. Later that week, the monk asked, "What taught you to protect yourself with stone?" Kieran hesitated, then quietly replied, "My father." He shared a memory. When Kieran was a boy, he had cried over a broken bird's nest. His father had said, "Strong men don't cry. They build, they seal, they endure." And so, Kieran learned to wall off not just pain, but all emotion. He built strength out of silence, fortress out of fear. The monk whispered, "Your father taught you to survive, but not to live." The true test came weeks later. The wall around his mother's grave. Kieran stood before it, trembling. "She was the last one who ever loved me as I was," he said. The monk replied, "Then why bury her love behind stone?" With shaking hands, Kieran placed his chisel to the mortar. Brick by brick, memory by memory, he took it down. Beneath it, the grave was surrounded by wildflowers that had found their way through cracks over the years. Life had tried to return, and now it could breathe again. Kieran dropped to his knees, and for the first time in years, he prayed not to seal away grief, but to feel it fully. That night, he did not cry alone. The monk sat beside him in silence. Kieran did not stop building, but now he built openly. Instead of walls, he built arches for neighbors to walk through. Instead of sealed gardens, he created common spaces for children to play. Instead of isolating his pain, he spoke of it. People came, listened, and healed beside him. And in this work, Kieran rediscovered his first love, creating spaces not for hiding but for holding. One day, a boy asked him, "Why don't you build walls anymore?" Kieran smiled and said, "Because nothing I love needs to be hidden. And what I fear loses power when I share it." We all build walls. Not of stone, but of silence, sarcasm, distraction, withdrawal. We say, "I'm fine," when we're not. We shut people out before they can leave us. We bury joy along with pain. But the monk's lesson was simple. What once saved you may now be what's trapping you. Walls can protect, but they can also suffocate. The courage is not in building them. It's in knowing when to take them down. Kieran found freedom not in fortifying his heart, but in opening it. And so can you. What walls have you built in your life, and are they still protecting you or imprisoning you? Comment below. What's one wall you're ready to take down? Subscribe to this channel for more solo awakening stories each week, because sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come when we stop hiding and start healing.